Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Randy from the Black Orchid Project. I hope you are all well. Today's video will be another subscriber question that came to me through Instagram. This question, I chose this one because I think it's really applies to a lot of different people, and that is the idea that the orchid they have, especially if it's one or two orchids that they have in their collection, at least one of them was a gift, and it's usually something very sentimental to them, a graduation, a sickness, a passing, something like that. And so outside of, I think, roses and things like that, orchids are a go-to for a special occasion or a sympathy gift. That being said, they become extremely important to people, and they have memories that they cherish, and they definitely want to save them. And a lot of people, again, they get them and they don't know how to take care of them, and they do what they can to keep them alive. And in this case, it's pretty incredible because this particular subscriber, her name is Naya Smith, and she got her orchid, and I'm going to show it to you in a second. Sorry, she got this orchid when her dog passed away, and it was like 9 years ago. And when I show you this, you're going to be like, "Holy crap! How is this thing still alive?" She literally got it, and once it dropped its flowers, she put it inside of what she considers a Dorito container. I'm not quite sure what that is because our Doritos come in bags, but I think where she's from, they get potato chips like in containers. And she literally put it in there, filled it up with water, and left it. And, obviously just kept watering it, keeping water on it. But this whole time, her roots and everything has been sitting in water. And so it basically kind of worked like a water culture. And I'm going to show you the pictures in just a second, and you'll see why this is actually working for her. So like I said, actually, you know what? Let's go on and take a look and see what she has going on here. So as you can see, it is inside of like a plastic or a glass container, and there are roots submerged inside that medium, but then there's those long roots, and she actually has a spike there. Now, she said that when the virus hit, she had to quarantine. She quarantined somewhere else, and she left the plant, and it's been like 2 months since she actually has taken care of the plant. So she thought she was going to come back and it was going to be dead, and it has these 2 leaves, and it actually has a spike with some buds on it. Now, the interesting thing about this is if you look at it, you see, again, there's submerged roots, but then there are these long roots up top. And that is why this plant is alive. So what's happened is those roots grew out over time, and that water, although there's probably soggy roots down below, that water is evaporating, and those air roots, those roots on the outside, are soaking up the moisture as it's coming up, and it's nourishing the roots inside and keeping this plant alive. And so yeah, it's kind of amazing, like when you see this, because everybody thinks that these plants are so so delicate, and there are some that's very delicate. I don't really deal in those plants, but as far as Phalaenopsis, they are extremely hardy. I mean, they grow on the side of trees, they grow at the base of trees, the roots are all exposed, they're not in the soil, things like that. And so they are pretty hardy, and sometimes I believe people over care for them and end up, doing more harm than good in over caring for them. So basically, what I told her, or my suggestion to her, was to obviously get it out of this container. Look at the, follow the other video on My Plant is Dying, and just kind of get rid of the roots that are soggy and brown that she needs to get rid of, and then she can get this thing repotted. Now, she's already ordered some potting mix, and she's got some moss, and she's going to get a pot. Now, my suggestion to her was to find a pot sort of like these. I love these pots. These are the pots I use if I have a plant that I know I'm going to keep for a long time, because as you can see, the roots will grow out of them. And so, you can get something like this and you can repot it, something, this size, you would repot in a pot about this size, and these roots will go down and they will come out the sides here. So, and another thing is, if I'm going to give this, let's say I'm going to let somebody keep this as I let them keep a rescue, I actually will keep it in the pot, put it in, and then put medium all around it. And that way I can always take it out, put a new one in, and it always becomes a display pot. So that's an option there. So that's what I recommended to her, was to use pots like this. One, because of the air holes, and two, because her roots will be able to grow out, and it can be another 2 to 3 years before she actually has to repot this again, maybe even more, as long as you take care of the roots. Now you do, when these roots come out, and I'm getting a lot of questions about that, about the roots being above the soil line, things like that, or the medium line. I hate to say soil because they shouldn't be in soil. You do have to spray them or keep them in a very humid place. These are not in a humid place, but when I soak it, they green up and they soak up the water they need, and they're just fine. So yeah, that was my advice to her. Let's get it out of the Dorito container, get those roots cleaned up, get it in a nice, healthy pot in medium, and keep an eye on it. And I think she's going to be able to enjoy this for a long time. So thank you very much for the question. If you have a question, feel free to send it to me at Black Orchid Project on Instagram. That's BLK Orchid Project. And hopefully I can answer a question for you. And so that is it for this video. As always, thanks for joining me here on the Black Orchid Project. Be safe. More importantly, be kind. And until next time, peace.